in. You might have this one that's already started up.
Cool.
You're right. You might have people joining that one already. This one's going live right now.
I love reading the names of everybody.
Yeah,
y'all got some pretty good original creative names, guys.
Get some people in there. Matt, can you tweet out, put out
We've got Benson Lover 35 in the chat.
No, the best one was Your Mom is Hot. Props to you, Your Mom is Hot. Good name there.
All right. All right, Ben, you can kick us off with some questions.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, we're good. Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, yeah, I was like,
Ben, you can kick us off.
Ben, man, what's up? Welcome to Karate Combat 43.
Yeah.
It's excellent to have you here for Fight Week. What are some of your emotions heading into this matchup with Anthony Pettis?
Some of my emotions heading into this matchup with Anthony Pettis as trying to keep myself calm, not to be too hyped up, not to be too excited. As you guys can imagine, I got a little bit of animosity. I got a little bit of pent-up aggression, a little pent-up frustration in me. So I'm actually trying to stay more calm, stay more relaxed, not be too hyped up for this fight against Anthony. Obviously,
Man,
third time he won the first two, so I really want to get this one back.
It's for the time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone asks Anthony about that Showtime kick, and how he felt delivering it. But, when you look at that highlight and in that moment for you, what was that experience like?
All right, for me, going back to the kick, is if you watch the replay of it, I put my foot on the cage first. I was thinking about doing a Superman off the cage going forwards, but he was just a little bit too far away. So then I didn't do it. Looking back, like, oh, if I would have done the Superman off the cage first. But sadly, it did not play out that way.
Yeah. What about that second fight? One of the things that we talked about earlier today was maybe being hyper-focused on getting the position and being too aggressive. What are some of the other takeaways you would say from your first two matchups?
I think some of the other takeaways from the first two matchups against Anthony was making sure I finished a position, whether I'm on his back. There's no grappling in karate combat, but making sure I put a stamp on any position that I have. If I have the upper hand, making sure I finish, making sure I pull that trigger. I was on his back, I had the rear naked in. He did a good job defending. I figured I'll let him defend, get out of the rear naked. Not let him, but he did a good job defending rear naked, but not really insisting on the position. Thinking like, I took his back once, I'm on his back, I got the body triangle on, I have the rear naked sunk in. He'll defend it, he'll get away, so no problem, no big deal. I'll get it again the next time. It's okay, no worries. And that next time never happened. So I want to make sure that going into this fight, if I have any sort of position, any sort of punch open or a kick that's open, making sure I pull the trigger and I take it.
Absolutely. We've got one question from the YouTube chat here. What do you think about Shohei Ohtani going to the Dodgers and that $700 million contract?
Oh, buddy. Guaranteed money, too. That's that baseball guaranteed money. Yeah, good for him. I think that is money well spent. Money well spent on him. That's the thing. Like some of these big deal contracts, people always talk about athletes getting paid this and that. And I kind of agree a little bit. I ain't one of those athletes, but I kind of agree a little bit sometimes. But that man, he deserved his money.
Yeah, well earned, paid in full. Kyle Post here is curious, did you bring in or talk to any karate combat veterans in preparation for this fight?
I did not bring in or talk to any karate combat veterans. I probably should have. Maybe that would have been a good idea. You should have hit me up and told me about that. Said, hey, you guys should talk to somebody, let somebody know, reach out, ask for help.
Hey, no help needed, man. We've got Kale Sims here. Judo chop or karate chop? Which one is stronger?
Judo chop or karate chop? I got something to show you guys on Friday night. I'm gonna come through with a couple of judo chops and karate chops. You'll see it. You remember these words. Remember this. Remember right here. I got one coming for you guys. You guys won't expect it.
How about Las Vegas in general, man? I mean, fighting here in kind of the mecca of combat sports. Any big stories from past fights here in Vegas?
Yeah, actually, this is my first time ever fighting in Las Vegas. Long, storied career and all that, but never fought in Vegas before. So, kind of excited for it. It's kind of cool. The fight capital of the world, the mecca of the world for the combat sports. So it is cool. At the same time, I'm not the biggest Vegas person. Vegas and I, we don't vibe very well together. I'm good for like maybe 1 or 2 days in Vegas, and I'm over it. The smoke and the people and everything. I'm like, too much. Get someone to give me a small, quiet corner of a room. But you know, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be here and be able to throw down in Vegas. It'll be fun.
Is it tough to find firsts in your career at this point? Because, like you said, so storied, so much experience. Are you running into, oh shit, this is the first time I've done this, or this is the first time I've tried that?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of hard time looking for first, because if you look for first, oh, first time this, first time that, yeah, you can find it. You can delve down into the history books, the record books, and find out like, oh, this is the first time your main card main event, your first time on this night, first time fighting after blah blah. There's always some sort of first, some sort of. But you know, first time in Vegas, that's a pretty easy one for me. So I'm pretty excited about that. But,
Kyle Post again. Are you going into this with the toothpick?
am I going into this fight with a toothpick? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's just a bad habit. I really should stop the toothpick thing. I have stopped it once my firstborn son was born. I kind of had to stop. I had to cut it out because my mom always told the story about how I was just telling the story earlier about how I would run around because I saw my dad, my pops, with the toothpick in his mouth. So I'd be 7, 8, running around with the toothpick in my mouth. My mom, like, "아이고 하지마 안돼, 아이고 하지마 안돼." Little short Korean woman yelling at me to stop and run around with a toothpick in my mouth. And I never understood it. I never thought it was a big deal. I was like, it's okay, it's fine, you know. And then I had my first son. I was like, I pictured him. I envisioned him being at 3 or 4, running around with the toothpick in his mouth and just be like chasing. Oh, stop! Take the toothpick out! No. So as you said, I have become my mother in that sense.
We've got Jeremy to go here, and he's curious. Any tips for mixed martial arts starters?
My tips for great question. My tips for mixed martial arts starters is make sure you find a good reputable gym. It doesn't have to be like a big name gym. It doesn't have to be a super well known popular gym like one of the best gyms in the world, whatever. But find a good reputable gym. Find somebody who you can trust, who you believe, who you have faith in, and actually do what they say. Actually follow through. And if they say, hey, yeah, you should probably show up to practice on this day, this day, this day, this day, on these days, get 2 practices, on this day, get your strength and conditioning, yada, yada. Actually do what they say. Actually buy into the system. A ton of world champions out there, they all have done it their way. DJ has done it his way. John Jones has done it his way. A little bit different way, but John Jones has done it his own personal way. I've done it my way. Yeah, everyone has their own way of doing it. But they all bought into their coach's system of how to do it. They all bought into their gyms, their coach's system. Hey, we do this here, we do that here, we do this here. So go find a good gym you can place faith and trust in, a gym that has, actual accolades and accomplishments, and then actually do what they say. As easy, as hard as that sounds, as easy as that sounds, do what they say.
From that guy, Morrow, what's your favorite kick to throw?
That guy Morrow, favorite kick to throw would definitely have to be open stance. Who knows what open stance is? Open stance, body kicks. Being able to take advantage of that open stance. It's your power leg, it's your power kick, and let them block it. Let them know that it's coming. Wind up, let them see it's coming, and make them block it 15, 16, 17 times in a row. Just all power.
I got one. So, there's a lot of talk about the Showtime kick with the pit and all that stuff, and it'd be cool to see you, land your own. But I feel like people are forgetting you have an iconic kick, the axe kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, thought about maybe landing one of those?
Yeah. Definitely. The fight ends up on the ground at any point in time. You might see the axe kick. Stay standing. You might see the axe kick if the opportunity presents itself. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the axe kick. A lot of power. Very unexpected. Comes in at different angles. And that doesn't have to be just 12 to 6. A slight, 130 to 6, like 2 to 6, change the angles a little bit. So the axe kick, I think, is a very powerful weapon, and just might see it on Friday night.
I'm curious, in general, what are you looking forward to most about competing in the pit?
Actually, I get pretty hyped up. What I'm looking forward to the most about competing in the pit is I get so worked up. I get feed off the energy of the crowd so much. I'm very much an entertainer, a fighter who feeds off the crowd. I get hyped up when they get hyped up. I hear them go, ooh, ah. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. I enjoy it, That being said, I like the open atmosphere of the pit, not having the cage there, not having something to block me from the crowd, but to have the crowd right there, right, right on top of you. I love that feeling. I love that, the feel of it. So I think I will very much enjoy that vibe inside the pit.
We've got one from Barron's. He says he's been doing Kempo karate for 7 years. Is that a good style of karate in your opinion?
Kempo karate for the past 7 years or so. I think any style. The reason why mixed martial arts was invented, the reason why it was created, was to see which style is better. So it's not about which style is better, it's about who can individualize it, who can make their own, who can be so good at their style to implement it in a real actual fight and then say, hey, this style's the best, this style's the best. Not that styles don't matter, but you can be so good. If you're a world champion kickboxer versus a amateur level boxer, your kickboxer is probably going to win. If you're a world champion jiu-jitsu guy versus a amateur boxer, probably the world champion jiu-jitsu guy is going to win. If you are a world class level Kempo karate guy versus a amateur level jiu-jitsu guy, probably the Kempo world class guy is going to win. So I think you have to make your own style, be unique, make it your own, and then that will be the winner. Who's ever better at their style, who's ever the best.
When you think about maybe like karate movies throughout the years, whether it be in the Bruce Lee vein or maybe the Karate Kid franchise, what types of entertainment have stuck out to you?
Yeah. As far as the different karate movies, which style stuck out the most to me, for sure you got to go with Bruce Lee. But for Bruce Lee, though, I feel like so many people have been impacted by his words, by his teachings, not just like what he did. Obviously, what he did was pretty amazing, his style, but how many people have literally read the book of Jeet Kune Do and have practiced his, his actual physical movements of his stuff? Not a whole lot, very small percentage. How many people have taken his words about being a cup, becoming the cup? How many have taken that and ran with that in whatever sport they're doing, and whatever it's, baseball, whether it's, combat sports, boxing, martial arts, or whatever it is, people have connected with Bruce Lee's words. I have connected with Bruce Lee's words and the meaning, the intent behind his words. I think that takes a much larger role than just the stylistic way that Jeet Kune Do was employed, used.
We've got one from Fightography here for $2. You gonna fight with the toothpick in or not?
Like I said, toothpick, it might happen, it might not, depend on, if I go eat at a restaurant and they have a toothpick on my way out, I might snag it, forget about it, leave it in. I don't know. It's super, it happens sometimes, it doesn't happen sometimes.
How long does the toothpick last in your mouth?
All night. My wife, you ask my wife, she'll literally tell you, like, she has pictures of me sleeping with the toothpick in my mouth. She gets all mad at me and slamming, waking me up. Oh, you just fell asleep with the toothpick in your mouth again, you dumb butt, you're gonna choke on it. So yeah, I literally, like, not breakfast time, but normally, like, say lunchtime, or say if we go to dinner somewhere, dinner time, I'll have a toothpick in, I'll pop it in, and then I'll just forget about it. I'll have it in, pop it out, have it in, pop it out. I'll just have it for the rest of the day, rest of the night, sleep with it, wake up in the morning, like, oh, toothpick, throw it away, whatever.
Speaking of that, of your wife, she's apparently starting her fighting career as well.
She is, yes. My wife is undefeated as amateur, and now she's 1-on-1 as a pro.
And how is it being on the other side when she's been on the other side for you?
Being on the other side, watching my wife compete in mixed martial arts, it's cool. I dig it. I'm first and foremost the biggest fan of my wife, the biggest supporter, her biggest #1 supporter on the planet. So anything she does, I'm all about it. I'm all about supporting her. But man, though, like, can we pick something else? Like, you want the whole wide world. Why pick mixed martial arts? Like, you can literally, like, she's an amazing baker. Like, go be on one of those baking shows. Go be a professional baker and make a ton of money. Like, why pick MMA? Why pick jiu-jitsu? But she loves it. She enjoys it. So I'm all about supporting her. And it is different, man. It's different supporting your wife in a combat sports like that.
We've got one from Kyle Post here. What do you think of crypto and the Karate Combat token?
Crypto and the Karate Combat token, I'm not going to BS with you. It's my first time hearing about it. But I know personally a ton of friends who have made a lot of money off crypto, and they were smart and they jumped on it right away. They told me about it. I was like, I don't know about this. That sounds completely made up, completely fake. But they did great for themselves. They were able to not work for a couple of years. Like, oh man, you made that much money? Like, you took 2 years off just to train jiu-jitsu. You made that kind of money doing crypto and stuff like that. So, man, God bless them. Great for them. I wish I would have pulled the trigger when they told me about it.
We've got one here. Are your quads a product of genetics, or did you never skip leg day?
Are my quads a product of genetics, or did I never skip leg day? I would say my quads, my legs, my calves are for darn sure a product of my mama. If you guys ever see my mama walking around in the summertime with some shorts on, her calves are bigger than mine, and I think might be more defined as well. Her calves are massive, and she's a little 4'9" Korean woman with some massive calves. So I'd say the calves come from my mama. The quads and the hamstrings, those come from never missing a leg day.
We've got one from Kyle Post here. He says, my last question, who do you have, Sam Alvey or Turbo Ross Levine?
Ooh. I love Sam. Sam's my guy. Smiling Sam. I love Sam. So I have a hard time picking against guys I'm actually personally friends with, so I can't pick against Sam. In those kind of situations, I'm a huge fan of Ross too. So those kind of situations, you just kind of say, let the best person win. You know, it might be Sam, it might be Ross, like who knows? But let there be no injuries, let no fluke accidents happen, let no one slip on a banana peel, but let the true person, who's ever better, let them win that night. Then it is what it is.
We've got the YouTube poll here going, and currently 67% of people have you beating Anthony Pettis. I'm curious your reaction to the general support here from the Karate Combat audience.
67% of the Karate Combat audience on YouTube right now thinks I'm going to beat Anthony Pettis, and I'm going to say those 67%, you guys are smart. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to push the pace on them. Cardio is king, and that's always been my number one weapon in all my fights. This fight being a 3-minute round fight, 5 rounds, you would think it actually would play not to my benefit, but you guys forget in the 3-minute round there's actually more action. It's not a 5-minute round prolonged where you have 5 minutes a round, but then the action in the 5 minutes might be maybe 50% action, maybe 60% action. This is a short 3-minute round. We know it's a short 3-minute round, and it's karate too, so there'll be more bounce around, more hopping around. I think you're going to see more action because of that, and I'm going to make sure that there's more action because of that, and use those 3 minutes as like a non-stop, non-action short 3 minutes. I can push the pace for 3 minutes for freaking 75 minutes in a row, and you're going to see that on Friday night.
We've got one here from Bob Hayes. He's asking, how important is your faith in life and as a fighter?
Man, my faith is important to me over everything. You have to have, not you have to. I feel like it is important to have a strong base, a strong faith in something, whatever you choose it to be. You can choose commercialism, consumerism, if you want to, whatever, you know. But my faith has helped keep me grounded, has helped been a source of strength for me to help me continue through some. Everyone in life has hard times. Everyone has their sad story. It doesn't matter however many rich kids there are, born with a silver spoon in their mouth. They have a hard life too. It might look different than your hard life, but everyone has a hard life. Everyone has a hard decision. Everyone has hard stuff to go through. Every single person on the planet, I don't care who you are, has a hard time. Comes to hard times, and you know my faith has been my rock for me to lean on to help me through those hard times. Just regular life, marriage, kids. Life is hard, and that has been my rock to help me in those hard times.
We've got Kyle Post's stepdaughter here. She's curious if you have any pets.
We just got 2 puppies. We had our original Akita. I bought my wife her Akita 11 years ago. Our Akita Athena. That my kids call her Nuna. Nuna means big sister in Korean. So hilarious, so cute. My kids always call her like Nuna, Nuna, Nuna. But she passed away last year, and so this Christmas we gave them to her early. We got 2 puppies, 2 Akitas for our kids. We had to get 2 of them because my wife said she wanted 2. So like, sure, of course, you wanted 2, that makes sense. We have 4 kids, we can barely get to the gym on time, we can barely freaking make it to practice. We are freaking always busy, got this going on, take the kids to practices and, chess practice, yada, yada. Let's add 2 puppies to the mix, no problem, let's do it. That sounds great to me. But they are amazing, they're great. Apollo's the boy. He's the little brother, but he's massive. He's way bigger than her. And then Artemis is the big little sister. So 2 puppies. Good question. I love that question.
Full Greek names, huh?
Yes, yeah. Athena was our first. Apollo and Artemis. Good catch. Good catch. Were the two we have now, brothers and sisters. They're not twins, but we call them twins.
We've got one from Dev here. He's curious what your thoughts on Ian Machado Gary are.
I don't know who those are.
Ian Gary, the UFC fighter?
Irish.
He did something. What did he do? That's the reason people were talking about him.
Jumping on him. If you don't know, then
I don't know. I don't know about Ian Gary or whoever. Sorry. I don't pay much attention to that. I know my boy Jared, the Killer Gorilla Cannonier, is coming back pretty soon. He's mopping shop with all y'all. Y'all better watch out. Y'all got him worked up. Y'all got me worked up. Y'all disrespecting Jared Cannonier. Y'all in trouble.
We've got one from Stress Judo Coaching. Who's your favorite K-pop group and why is it Mamamoo?
I haven't hopped on the Mamamoo bandwagon just yet. My kids, though, my kids are on the BTS right now. I don't know how or why, but there's like 2 songs they like from BTS, right? It's BTS, and yeah, they love them. It's crazy to me, but it's because they did a Disney sing-along. They did a Disney holiday sing-along, and BTS sang a Christmas song, and since then they have liked BTS.
Favorite Korean movie?
Favorite Korean movie? I think it's the Itaewon. There's a couple of them. There's a brother one. I'm blanking on the name. There's a brother one that I really connect to, my brother and I. And then there's a war one, like War of the Roses or something like that. That's pretty great K-pop drama. If you guys like those.
We've got Dev here again. Thoughts on everyone following your lead on the calf kicks? How did you realize that it was effective?
Oh, the calf kicks. Shout out to my Habibi Adele, who trained at our gym for a while. Comes from Kyokushin Karate, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Comes from Kyokushin Karate. And he hit me with one of those in practice. And I was like, what was that? That hurt like a son of a gun. And I've always said it, I'm not shy to admit that I will steal anything from anybody. If it works, if it's an effective move, I will steal it. I will take it. I will do it. Kimura chop, stolen. Calf kick, stolen. Buggy choke, stolen. If it works, why would you not adapt it to your game, you know? And so Adele started hitting me with the calf kicks in sparring, and it made me go, what the same reaction, you know? So then I started doing it in my fights. But that is where I got it from, is Kyokushin Karate. If you guys want to go down a rabbit hole, go on YouTube or go online anywhere, go look up Kyokushin Karate. Those are some of the most BA free fighters, most gnarly guys. They're amazing. They're some amazing athletes, amazing fight style, rule set. A lot of tough guys and girls, I guess, you know, do Kyokushin Karate.
Who's one fighter that you'd want to see in karate combat?
One fighter that I would love to see in karate combat. Oh man, for sure, MVP. MVP all day. I'm a huge fan of MVP. I think he's a great guy. Great fighter, some gnarly timing, amazing timing. Like, he knows what you're going to do before you do it. He can anticipate it. The amazing timing. I think he'd be a highlight reel in karate combat. The rule set for MVP, get out of here. Yeah, I would pay so much money to watch that.
When you started your martial arts career, what got you into martial arts?
I started out my martial arts career. What originally got me started, was my mom. Our household was a very super traditional Korean household. We had, rice and kimchi, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So very traditional Korean household. But outside of the household, it was, in America, it was Seattle, North Seattle. So it was all Americanized everything. So my mom wanted my brother and I to have a little more of a Korean influence, a little bit more Korean culture outside of the home. So she enrolled us into Taekwondo. So my brother and I both got our black belts, did Taekwondo for a while, and we ended up moving away from North Seattle. Then we, kind of fell out of it, had a hard time finding another location, and then I started wrestling from there.
We've got one here from Dev. He's curious what you think about PFL's current acquisition of Bellator.
Great question. I am super interested in seeing how the PFL acquisition of Bellator is going to play out in reality. I think they still are not quite sure how it's going to play out. I know I have heard a bunch of different, like, oh, they're planning on doing this, oh, they're going to do that, oh, they're going to do this route, oh, they're going to go this route. So who knows how it's going to play out, but I am very interested in seeing how that is going to play out. I think PFL is doing great things. I think, Bellator was a great home of mine for a long time, so it's kind of sad to see that happen. But then when I heard that, oh, this is actually going to stick around for a while longer, they're not going to completely just go away just yet. They're going to have a couple more shows for this many years, whatever it is. So I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. But I think PFL is doing big things. When you got, the kind of backing that they have, it allows you to do big things like that. And if you want to, you want to make money, it takes money to make money. Same idea for MMA. If you want to have some big moves, you have to do some big moves. And PFL purchasing Bellator, that's a big move. That's a huge move. And I think some big things are going to come of it.
We've got one here from Dev. Who was your dream fight, alive or dead?
I have a hard time with that question. Who is my dream fight, alive or dead? I have a very hard time with that question. It almost feels disrespectful saying, oh, I want to fight this guy. Like, I'm not really a, Terry Toughness, really badass type of guy. Not my persona, not who I am. So I can't really ever say, like, I want to fight this guy, I want to fight this guy. I can say I like to compete against this person, whoever it is. Like, I can understand that when you word it like that, when someone words it to me that way. Who would you like to play basketball against? Who would you like to compete in basketball against? Oh man, I love to play against Michael Jordan. Like, oh, let's go. Let's get the hoop over there. Let's play. I love to play MJ. So when you word like that, there are guys I would like to compete against. And when I say compete, I mean like maybe train with, practice with. And the list of who I would want to practice with is a huge long list. I'd love to practice with DJ. I'm a huge DJ fan, Mighty Mouse. Arguably, in my estimation, probably the pound for pound best fighter on the planet in the past 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, for a long time. He's the man. Love to train with Anderson Silva. Never got a chance to train with Anderson. GSP for what he has, for what he does. He's great at what he does. BJ Penn. I was lucky enough to be able to train with BJ Penn. Helped me get ready for his Clay Guida fight. He beat me up a lot, but that was awesome. It was a eye-opening, surreal experience being able to train with BJ Penn. I turned around the cage and BJ said across me, like, holy, BJ Penn about to beat the crap out of me. Oh no, here we go. So it was cool. But people who I like to train with, not necessarily a dream fight who I want to fight against, but people I want to train with. Man, there's a huge, long list of guys I would love to train with. I'd love to train with Gordon Ryan, Nicky Ryan. I train with Craig Jones. I'm a huge fan of Craig Jones. I love Craig Jones. Not in that way, Craig. Not in that way. But I'm a huge Craig Jones fan. And, I have been lucky enough to train with him a bunch of times.
You said you trained with BJ before the Clay fight?
Yep, his brother was Clay. He needed a southpaw wrestler.
Yeah.
Southpaw wrestler.
It worked. BJ might have put some work, but you beat Clay, didn't you?
I did, yep. Yeah.
We've got one from Dev here. He's curious, what's your favorite experience with Dana White, or favorite memory with him?
I love Dana. He's an awesome businessman. He's a great business guy. He does what he needs to do for his business to be successful. He does a great job of it. He's an amazing businessman in that sense. My personal favorite experience with Dana White was when I went to some show for them. It was a big video game show, a big annual conference where they display the next year's video games. And the UFC flew me out there. I had the belt at the time. UFC flew me out there to display their EA game. And my dumb butt, I came with t-shirt and board shorts like I always have. And they were a little bit upset about that. They were a little bit, not mad, but they were, I guess, disappointed that I wasn't properly attired, like in a business suit and business tie and nice slacks and whatnot. And I don't know, I just, not who I am. Literally not who I am. I'm not. And they didn't ask me to. They didn't tell me. They didn't say, hey, make sure you bring a tire. Make sure you bring this. They didn't say nothing like that. It was not my fault. God. But anyways, Dana actually went shopping, and he saw me that day. Then him and his guys went to the mall down the street, and they came back and they had like $2,000, $3,000 worth of clothes for me. Like, oh man, that's very nice to you. Like, it's strictly for your benefit, but it's very, but I appreciate it though. It means a lot to me. That is super kind, super sweet, super nice, super awesome. So thank you, Dana. And I still have those clothes he bought for me. I still have them now. I have a little section of clothes. Dana White, not many people can say that Dana White bought them those clothes, So I have a little small section of 10 pants, 15 shirts or whatever it was, like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes. Like, this is my Dana White section. They clearly Dana White bought for me.
Speaking of video games, how was that, seeing yourself on a video game for the first time?
Oh man, the first time seeing myself on a video game, that was super trippy, super out of body experience, super trippy, super like, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I was like, oh man, you look like that. That guy's kind of ugly, but that's cool. It's cool. It was great to see myself on a video game. I think basketball players growing up envision themselves in a video game one day. Football players envision themselves on a video game one day. Soccer players, baseball players, they envision themselves in a video game one day as having made it. For wrestlers, like, we don't envision ourselves in a video game. Like, we just, I hope I graduate college and I hope I go coach for a good high school program somewhere one day. It used to be back in the day. Nowadays, like, hey, I wrestled in high school, wrestled in college. I did great. Maybe one day I can be in the video game. So it's awesome that wrestlers have that now. But the first time I saw it, for me, I was pretty geeked out about it.
Yeah, like sometimes you have these NFL and NBA players, they see their ratings. Did you see your ratings, and were you happy or kind of pissed about it?
For the first game I was in, I think I was in 3 or 4 games. For the first game, I was a little upset. I was a little mad. I was like, yeah, really? Yeah, y'all have me rated that. It was like, oh. I remember, I think it was like an 86. I don't know why I remember. I remember it was like an 86 or something like that from the first EA game that I was in. And then the last EA game I was in, I had the belt and stuff. So I was the highest rated lightweight. So I was like, yeah. No, I better put some respect in my name like that, suckers. Y'all better recognize.
We got one from Stress Judo Coach, and he's curious, who's your favorite author, and if you have a favorite book?
I'm a huge book nerd. My favorite author, favorite book. I've been a huge comic fan, a huge fan of reading since I was 12, 13 or so. Very introverted by nature. I had to really practice on probably the hardest part of fighting for me, outside of actual fighting, training, yada yada. The hardest part of being a professional athlete has been being more engaging, being more personable, being more outgoing. I'm super crazy, like shy by nature. So I really had to work on being more engaging and talking, giving more animated answers and doing this stuff. Like, I'm terrible at it. I have a little bit of social anxiety. So I was a huge reader in junior high, middle school, and in high school. Always by myself in the corner reading books. So favorite author is Ben Bova, and favorite book would be the Orion series. Pick either one of the Orion series, or even Brian Jacks, who wrote the Red Wall series. That was huge, instrumental in my development as a young teenager, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, reading the Red Wall series by Brian Jacks. Who I pronounced Brian Jaquise at the bookstore, and they told me, who is that? Like, oh, you pronounce him, he's French, he's not Jaquise. I was like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed, Brian Jacks. But yeah, Ben Bova, huge Ben Bova fan. The Orion series, or Brian Jacks if I'm going a little bit younger, in his Red Wall series. Pick any one of the books from the Red Wall series, or any one of the books from the Orion series.
Comics,
huge comic fan, huge comic fan, huge comic book nerd. My favorite title in comic books is to be X-Force. They had a couple of different runs with X-Force and different writers writing the X-Force, but X-Force is probably for sure my biggest.
Cable.
Yeah, Cable, Domino, huge fan of X-Force, Shatterstar, Richter, all those guys.
Favorite hero?
What's that?
Do you have any graded ones? Like, what's your prize comic?
Oh, I probably don't have a huge prize comic, but I do have a bunch. I have a whole library full and stuff, Who did?
Favorite hero?
Oh, favorite hero I'd probably say Cable. I was a huge Shatterstar fan for a long time, because he was literally born, raised, his DNA was spliced together to be a warrior, born warrior. So I always liked that about Shatterstar.
Villain?
But I would say Cable, actually. Nathaniel Dayspring as Candy's son, Summers. Favorite villain? That's a good one. I don't have off the top of my head. Favorite villain? Oh, it's this guy. I don't have an answer for a favorite villain. One of those conflicted villains, though, like a good guy villain. I think Thanos is a little bit of a good guy, bad guy villain. Like, he has good reasons. We're running out of resources. We need to save the resources so we get rid of half the population. Makes sense. You could double the resources, or you could kill half the people, But one of those conflicted good guy, bad guys, I guess.
I think with Cable kind of has a little bit of that.
Yeah, he was a good guy, but he was willing to do the bad things to get the good job done.
We'll take one more question from the chat, Ben.
Our last question.
Last question.
From Dev. He's curious, who was your toughest opponent?
Who was my toughest opponent? I would probably have to say for sure Donald Cerrone in our first fight. Got to give it to him because they always ask me my toughest fight. So that Donald Cerrone, that first fight, I knew I could do it in wrestling. My whole wrestling career, no, whole MMA career too. My whole wrestling career, I was not the better wrestler. The guys I'm man enough to admit those guys. There were guys who were better wrestlers than me. They were more technical. They were better than me. But I pushed the pace. I would push the pace, and I would beat them because I had a better gas tank, a better heart, a bigger heart, whatever you want to say, you know. So I'd beat the guys in wrestling because of that. I didn't know if I could transition to MMA and do the same thing. I knew I could do it in wrestling. I've done it for my entire wrestling career, pushing the pace, digging deep, pushing guys, getting them tired, whatever. I didn't know if I could do it for MMA. I wasn't sure. Like, oh man, I think I can. He's pretty similar. I think I can, push the pace and make guys get them tired and dig it out at the very end and get my hand raised at the very end, last second after getting beat up for 4 rounds. And against Donald Cerrone, that first fight, I had to dig deep. I literally I got to the point where like, oh man, I just want to fall down. I just want to sit down now. I'm tired. I got him. And I had to dig deep. I had to not leave anything left. If I were to have left 1 ounce of anything left in that fight, I would have lost. I would have not got my hand raised. But I had to dig deep and give literally everything of myself into that fight to get my hand raised. So I say he was my toughest opponent because 2 fights. The next fight we had a rematch. I beat him in the first round, guillotine choke. In our third fight, that sucker came back and he beat me in a controversial. He knows what's up. I know what's up. It's all good. Enough years have passed by. A controversial decision, split decision in Boston. So I say my toughest opponent has been Cerrone because I beat him twice and he came back and he beat me a 3rd time. And that first fight was just a great fight, a great experience, something that I like doing. I like going out there and giving all of myself. I like going out there and opening myself up to the world, letting myself be judged, be weighed, be measured, see what you got, see what your heart holds, see what your heart has versus my heart, see whose heart's more pure, see whose heart is stronger. Skill set, this and that, yada yada. How long you've been practicing? But let's just see whose heart is bigger, And that Donnie Cerrone fight, that's exactly what I had to do.
Excellent. Final thoughts going to your family, friends, fans all around the world.
Cool. Final thoughts to family, friends, and fans all around the world. Man, we've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time, and I got to say thank you to all the fans over the years. Because this is a hard sport, this is a hard lifestyle. This isn't, being a banker, this isn't being a mechanic, this isn't, those are hard jobs, being a landscaper, it's a hard job, it's tough. Every day waking up doing the grind, yada, yada. This is a tough job, this is a tough lifestyle. A lot of highs, a lot of good moments, a lot of big moments, at the same time, a lot of lows, a lot of low moments, a lot of sad moments, sad times, being heartbroken. We put our heart and soul into what we do, not just a job, I put my heart and soul into what I do. Thank you to all the fans over the years for all the support. Without your kind words, without your messages, without the positivity, uplifting messages, that means a lot to me. It really does. So thank you to all the fans over the years for all the support. And I maybe have 2 more years of competing left. Who knows? I'm retired from mixed martial arts. I'm retired from MMA, but I'll still compete. I'll still throw down maybe ADCC, karate combat. Who knows how many times? So I'll still compete for a while. So just. Stick with me these last couple of years. Stick with me these last couple of years. Please keep the support going because it means a lot to me in this crazy lifestyle I've chosen.
Before we let you go, there's an important one I've been waiting for someone to ask you. No one's asked yet. Are you gonna fight with a toothpick? Or... That's a wrap, boys. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate your time, brother.
Cool.
We are out.
That was fantastic.
Appreciate it.